Welcome to an episode of Conversations with Neighbours. On this episode, we have Tim Jones. Welcome. Welcome to the show.
Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Happy to have you here. And I'm always excited to get individuals in here and get to learn about them. And I've especially liked having some mayors in here. Anyone in the politician world, it has gained more and more of my own interest of it. So I'm excited to have you here. And we always like to start at the beginning, I guess. Quick run through, where'd you grow up, and then kind of go through school real quick. We'll call this the comic book origin story.
Perfect. Oh, sounds good. I come from Montreal and didn't get here until 74. On a job in North York, which was worked for the North York Parks and Rec Department for about 29 years, and loved every minute of it. It was always terrific. But at the same time, in 74 and 76, I moved up here to Aurora, and basically from 76, I joined a tennis club. I got on the recreation board. Being on a Parks and Recreation in the city, I figured out I'll volunteer for the board here. And in 2 years' time, I was encouraged to run for council, and surprised myself and a whole lot of other people when I actually got elected in 78 as a councillor. I came eighth, 8 seats, and I was the last seat, but I made it.
Yeah.
And was fortunate, and in those days there was 2 years between elections, and then it became 3. But I kept running for council all the time, and got reelected for a 16 years span.
Did you enjoy the time being in council and being involved in that? Like, was it what you expected? Did you learn a lot? Like, what was the?
I think one of the things I always said was, I worked for the turkeys in North York, and I became a turkey when I came to Aurora. Politics has always been in my blood. Even in Montreal, I was on the executive of the community association that nominated the councils there, and I was the youth representative at that time. So I've always it's always been there. And so I was very fortunate to continue to run for election, get reelected, and had lots of support, which was really nice. And then went through a number of different mayors. Dick Illingworth, actually Evelyn was never mayor when I was the mayor, or when I was on council, but there was Dick Illingworth, there was George Timpson, and John West. And all people that were completely different and that I learned a lot from. Glad to have worked with them all. Worked with some terrific councillors. And then the time came when John decided he wasn't running again, and I was asked to consider it. And I was obviously had thought about it. And
did you have the seed of the idea like leading up to that, or did it happen quickly? Kind of get tapped on the shoulder, like maybe I should go out for a run for this, or was it maybe 4 years or 5 years or?
Yeah. I never really set the goal as to be the mayor. I was working in the city of North York at the same time I was on council, and it took up the better part of a week every week, and I was quite happy doing that. But when the option came, John talked to me about it, and I sort of realized a year or two ahead of time that it was something I'd like to do. So I did, and actually when I did get elected as mayor, was the mayor for 6 years while I was also working for the city of North York, which was an interesting situation because the mayor of North York at the time was Mel Lastman, and they had a group called the Greater Toronto Area Mayors and Chairs, of which, as his employee, when I was in North York, as the mayor of Aurora, we would be sitting at the same table in these meetings for the Greater Toronto Area Mayors and Chairs, making policy decisions, whatever, for the Greater Toronto Area and Hamilton. So it was a unique
Did he like that or not like that?
I asked him if I could run for mayor, if
Yeah.
he had any issues with it, and he said, go for it.
Yeah. What year is that when you ran for mayor? And what's Aurora look like at that time, population wise?
It was around 94, 1994, I ran for mayor. The population when I first got on council was 11,000 people. We grew quite a bit through various spurts, I guess. I think George Timpson's terms had a lot of housing come to the town. Probably we got into, I can't remember the exact numbers at that time.
Yeah.
But I know when I left, we were around 65,000.
Wow, that's a
lot of people.
A lot of people.
Sure is.
So you decide you're going to run for mayor. How was that? How was that first run? Was it?
Oh, it was exciting.
Yeah.
I ran against George Timpson, who had been the mayor, and two or three others that had thrown their hat in the ring, and it was anybody's race. We put out a lot of promotion signs, of course. I did a lot of door knocking. Had a lot of people on my team, which two of them resembled me to some degree, because I always remember being on a corner saying, "I just saw you down at that corner," and I had to laugh because I knew that it was one of the other two guys that had the glasses, had the same sort of build, and it was interesting. But we got in, and we were very happy to win that time.
And how long were you mayor for in total?
12 years.
12 years.
So it was in each, and that was when there were 3-year terms.
Oh, okay.
So
Yep.
I had to win 4 elections
Nice.
to stay in for 12. So.
Nice.
But 29 years on council.
Yeah.
It was absolutely, I enjoyed it the whole time.
And then after leaving mayor position, what's post that? What's life look like after that?
You wake up the next morning and you go, whoa. You haven't got an office to go to. There's nobody calling you to say that their sewer's backed up. It's different, and there was a period of adjustment.
Yeah.
I was very fortunate. I was asked by Belinda Stronach to join Tom Taylor, the former mayor of Newmarket, and Steve Hinder, to create this thing called Neighborhood Network. We didn't even have a name for it, but it was more out of, I guess, what Belinda had wanted. She had a lot of people who came to her constituency office, and she couldn't help them because it was more community related. So it was simply a very simple task of identifying volunteers in the community, identifying opportunities in the community, and bringing them together. And we did that and got the ball rolling. And I'm proud to say the Neighborhood Network still exists today, and I'm still associated as the Aurora ambassador. So,
Yeah.
and now my role has diminished quite a bit with Neighborhood Network from when we started, but we're really glad to have gotten that going.
And then does this lead into working with chats?
Actually, after the Neighborhood Network thing got going, I still had a little politics left in my blood, so I was tapped to run for the Liberal nomination back in 2000, I think it was 8. We had Stefan Dion was the leader at that time, and unfortunately, I didn't find that he resonated very well with the people here. So I had a lot of people who would say, "We'd like to vote for you, but we really can't vote for you because of the leader." And that may not have been the case, but Lois Brown won fair and square, and that was the end of my real political involvements. And after which, I was approached. Had some good friends who were on the Chats board. And I just knew about Chats, obviously, from the time that I was even mayor. We'd done some things together. And they asked if I would consider being their fundraiser, director of development, which is the very nice title for it, but it's a fundraiser. And I said, sure, I'll give you 3 years. I really want to retire in 3 years, and I'll give you 3. So after 7 years... I said, okay, I'm going to retire when I'm 70. That's it. So after 7 years, I did retire. I had both my knees redone. I had full knee replacements done in about a week after I retired. So it kept me off my feet, so to speak. And I was glad I did. It was once you're 70, I think you've done your thing.
Yeah, for sure. had a good piece that you're preparing your body for the retirement years.
I was.
Get the knees done. Make sure
Golf. Got to be good for golf.
And one of the events that is coming up, which is the golf tournament with Chats. Tell me a little bit about that, how that came to be. And last year was its 10th year, so we're going into the 11th year now. Yep. I've participated in it a couple times. I'll be golfing this year as well too. It's a great event. But kind of give me the background of the golf tournament, and maybe some of the early days and what it kind of means.
Sure. I'm going to go back a step. When I was mayor, we had a pro-am tennis tournament. I'm a tennis player. I was a tennis player about 50 pounds ago. And I enjoyed my tennis. We were members of the Timberlane Tennis Club. A lot of good tennis players there, and all pro and whatever. And we ran the tennis. When I became mayor, Steve Hinder tapped me on the shoulder and says, you can make a lot more money in a golf tournament than you can in a tennis tournament. And so, and it's all for charity. So think about it. And I said, well, I've thought about it. I said, if I do a golf tournament, if you chair it, I'll do it. Mm-hmm. So he agreed to chair it, and we got a committee together of some phenomenal people. And we ran the first golf tournament. I can't even remember what we made, probably maybe $40,000 or something. And I thought we really did well, and the money actually went towards the first the bus for disabled services in our town, because at that time it wasn't York Region Transit. And we were able to get that bus. We bought that bus out of the funds from that tournament. And then from there, we just kept going.
Built on top of it, and learned, got it bigger.
Actually,
and bigger.
I'm sorry. You know what? I'm confusing that with my tennis. The tennis tournament was where that came from.
Oh, okay.
Was from the disabled bus. The golf tournament went into charities. Charities like Chats, all sorts of local charities who really, and I've learned how hard it is for the smaller charities to raise funds. So if you can get $2,000, $5,000 for a charity, it's a big thing for them. So we were able to focus on giving out grants to charities who applied, and our golf committee would review them, and we would approve them, and off the money would go.
So it was really first the mayor's golf tournaments is where you learned like the ropes of putting on these golf tournaments, raising the funds, allocating those dollars, built up the skills, knowledge, relationships.
So because of that, why don't I do the same thing at Chats?
Yeah.
Now, the reality is the mayor's tournament is usually a captive audience. You have particular people that will always play in the mayor's tournament and feel obligated to play. Chats, usually you draw your participations from the clients, from the people who benefit from the service and whatever. I will tell you that most Chats clients probably would not play in a golf tournament. Hopefully some support people might play, but they're busy supporting the people that they have. So we drew upon others that we knew, suppliers. We would draw upon friends, and to this day, the group that I play with every Wednesday, we play. My neighbor he works for Bell, and he has about a whole bunch of people there that have always wanted to get together and have a little tournament, but they're not big enough. So I get about 3 or 4 foursomes through him, and he plays, and he uses it as his little tournament as well as the Chats tournament. And we were able to build on that. And as we can, we've grown from usually, I think, maybe 70, 80 people in the first one to, I believe it's well over 120 or 30 that they had last year.
Yeah, like it's
almost
a full
$45,000 last year, which is terrific. We made, I think, 20,000 in my time, and I felt terrific about that. So it was great, and we put a committee together of people who are interested in helping out, once you've done your first one, I always find the next ones tend to fall into place a lot easier, because you've established your rapport with your golf club, you've got your schedule and routine, and it's a matter of just fine-tuning it every year to what works better and what may not work that well.
Yeah, I think, call it the first one hard, and then you're building on top of it, but then you kind of reach this top where now you just need to do it really, really well to extend it, right? It's like you kind of had to figure it out, but it needs to be executed well for the people to want to come back or to tell other people you should come to this golf tournament.
So in telling other people this year, obviously we are doing we did an enhanced breakfast. It's going to be terrific. We do a barbecue lunch, which is very good. It's what you want, chicken, beef, whatever. There's all sorts of options. We'll do draws. We'll do various prizes. There's prizes for little internal competitions, the usual closest to the holes, the longest drive, that sort of thing. Chartwell does I think it's a purple ball where you start with a purple ball, and if you end with that ball, you click the claim. Now, a lot of it's you gotta be honest about it. If you don't lose that ball, then it goes into a draw for a prize.
Yeah, I lost that ball like hole 4 last time.
Well, you're better than I am. I lost it hole 1. That's for foursome. So
yeah. Do you know what your all-time low score is for this specific tournament? With you golf with the same group, or
we golf with the same group? We're usually, I don't know, four under, something like that. We'll never win a tournament, but we'll place. We'll be there. We'll be in the competition.
Yeah, it feels good to put up birdies and be under, no matter how. When you look at the scorecard, even if it's a best ball scramble, it's nice to.
Certainly makes you feel like you're playing better golf.
Yeah. And
Mill Run, it's a terrific course. I've never played it until I played the Chats tournament there.
Yeah.
And they're really good to us, and they run a very good operation. So I'm looking forward to going back.
Yeah, it's I was gonna say, the tournaments are fun. Like, it's just you feel so much easier over the ball. When you
just shouldn't hit it this hard. That's all. Now, if anybody wants to play, it's $175, and I believe there's still a couple of spaces open. So people are very welcome to contact Chats, and they'll take them right away.
Yeah, we'll put all the links.
Great.
If you want to come to it, I'll be there this year for sure.
I'm hoping to play this year. I shouldn't say I am playing because I'm having my eyes operated on the end of August.
Oh, okay.
And as long as they tell me that I can swing a club, I'll do it. If they tell me that I can't exert myself, then I'll have to walk around and putt or something.
Yeah. And I was going to say, it feels good when you're over the ball when you know you have the other shots. It feels really scary when you're the fourth putter. And it's like a 6-footer, but you have 3 misses in front of you, and if you miss it, you're gonna bogey on this.
The weight is on your shoulders, baby.
Okay, that's wonderful. Thank you for coming in and giving us a little background, and we're excited for the golf tournament, and hopefully you'll be playing, but I'm sure we'll see you there.
I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for